Welcome to the Violet Flame YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. We would be very grateful. And now, let's dive into the amazing world where we are just guests. I will tell you a story that happened to everyone. Let's go. The mind is our restless little animal. The brain is the physical organ of the human body, an integral part of life. Without a brain, there is no future in society. It is the organ in which the mind resides. Yes, many say that the brain is just a transmitter, and all our thoughts revolve beyond the physical body. But we're not talking about that now. Whenever the brain is mentioned, we remember the mind. If someone is referred to as brainy, intelligent, erudite, or rational, it means they are grounded. All the values of earthly existence have been instilled in them, and their rationality is turned up to the maximum. Anything unexplainable is considered nonsense. Nowadays, rationality is the scourge of further spiritual growth. The mind stands guard, not letting anything into our lives that it cannot explain the reality of. If it has no explanation, then in its opinion, nothing will happen in your life. It is a blocker, a security system, although this sometimes works with a minus sign. The brain records absolutely everything we do when we are awake or resting. Sleep is not a problem for it. It records all body movements, even reflexes, plus the smells and sounds around us. It even records emotions. Can you imagine this computer? There is so much information in it, and you say that we cannot remember past lives. It would be overwhelmed by the yottabytes of information that have come from past incarnations. We already have many memory safeguards that dump unimportant memories into distant storage to avoid mental overload, leaving only what is relevant for today. Can you imagine what it would be like if you remembered all the unresolved questions in your life? What would happen to you? The local psychiatric hospital would welcome you with open arms. If you set a goal, you can restore any fragment of your life through hypnosis or regression. I'm not advocating for this experiment because much depends on the guide. And not always is there energetic purity at its best. You can catch a hitchhiker when your defenses are weakened. So instead of playing with hitchhiking, if you need to remember something, it's better to turn to the soul. It is much more environmentally friendly and can retrieve the desired information from the depths of the subconscious. It may take longer, but it is more reliable. What does disbelief mean for the mind? If a person doesn't believe in something, it means it doesn't exist. That's what a person of the mind thinks, but in reality, it's happening behind their back, behind closed doors right in front of them from the other side. The mind discredits all clues, saying that it was just their imagination. They're making things up. And then we remember the words from childhood, when we were told to calm down and stop making up stories in our heads. By doing so, we broke the connection with our soul and activated the dominance of the mind. It grew year by year, and its influence on our personality grew too. The mind blocks most of our desires to be happy, to step out of our comfort zone, to start seeing the bigger picture, to earn a lot of money, to find a life partner, and much more. It's not an enemy, it just doesn't understand what's at point B. When you're at point A, it knows everything Everything is clear. The mind doesn't like uncertainty. This automatically leads to blockages. It triggers fear. For example, the first parachute jump. What does the brain say? We'll crash. The parachute won't open. Let's go home. What does going insane mean? It means turning off the mind so that it doesn't dominate us. All the magic happens when the mind is turned off. When it doesn't try to explain what's happening, you just see or feel it. And that's it. Without explanations, like something incredible. As soon as the mind creeps into your consciousness to explain something, everything falls apart. The image disappears, and the magic hides. It's hard to explain how easy it is to feel and how hard it is to explain, so that someone who hasn't experienced it yet can understand. But you just have to want it. Remember? Let's return to spiritual growth. Sometimes a person has already rid themselves of external influences. There are no curses, contracts, or possessions, yet enlightenment still eludes them. Enter your main boss at the level, the mind. He's cunning, hiding when you swing your sword, only nodding along. And when you're looking for someone to blame, he's not involved. In short, learn to negotiate with him. You can explain to him something supernatural in his understanding, that he's in charge, that he loves to control everything. He worries about the overall safety, and in the event of danger, he activates protective mechanisms. But this time everything is under control. Let him trust you and step aside. It rarely happens. Don't confuse the concept of having no thoughts in your head with the concept of the mind taking a break. It must control everything at all costs. Your head may be silent, but as soon as something inexplicable happens, according to the mind's standards, it immediately becomes involved in the process. And that means stopping all scenarios, and nothing inexplicable can happen further. Vipassana practice is certainly good, but it's not a panacea. That is, will definitely give you a push forward. No one argues with that, but on the path to unlocking supernatural abilities, it's not a guarantee of success. You know, there's a wonderful example. The swear like a sailor state almost everyone experiences. When skydiving for the first time, the mind jumps around uncontrollably. You can't pick the right epithets. Stopping that obsessive thinking is simply unrealistic. A person finding themselves in new stressful conditions chooses the mind because that's what they've trained themselves to do. In conclusion, I want to say that all our attempts to deal with the mind will eventually succeed. After all, if we want it, we will definitely achieve it. And on the eve of meeting a new race of gray color, be a little crazy, because that little beast will tolerate colossal overloads there. I wish everyone to learn to negotiate with it. The end. Thank you for listening. We would be grateful if you leave a comment about the story you heard. Meanwhile, enjoy the meditative music. See you on our channel.